Is MMR really an indicator that you are a good player?
Yep,
No,
it is.
Jesus.
If your MMR's not good and you're like, oh, I'm in the trench. Newsflash, you're not good.
Glad I didn't have to be the one to say that.
Like
usual.
I don't mind being the bad guy from time to time.
No. It's because you actually have some you are actually an authority on the figure. You can actually say whether or not good or bad. We say it and people are just like, oh, but you don't really know.
I'm sure you guys have decent MMR. It's not too bad.
Purge got 6K recently.
6K.
Hell
there you
yeah.
go. See, I'm not that high rated for like a professional player, but
it definitely
still
matters.
up there.
Like pubs are different, but it's still a set of skills that you need to learn. And if you are in a trench, it's probably because there's a skill that you haven't learned or practiced well enough that will get you out of those heavy games.
I would say that that growth is like the growth in the MMR system, and then the transition to pro is like exponential. Like the knowledge and the mechanics and everything, like you just, there's a huge difference between, I think, 6, 7, 8, and 9 in some ways. Obviously, some pro players, aren't really fully dedicating themselves to get that MMR because they're
I was going to ask you about it,
stuff.
because some aren't that worried about it. Now they've made it, they're in a big team. Everyone knows how they play in a professional match. That's a little bit different,
It's different. They're still playing high-tier games.
Yeah.
And I kind of went in that on like a positive note. So I really feel like I'm being shown in the wrong light in a question like that. People always ask me, oh, how do I get better? How do I improve? How do I become a professional player? And I always tell them, one of the best things that you can do is, first off, make friends, be a friendly player, and make friends with people that are better than you. Play with them a lot, and eventually you'll be just as good as them, and you'll learn what makes them a good player, and maybe you can even eclipse them.
Was that what you did, Peter?
Yeah.
Like your transition from Han to Dota?
I grew up playing with my best friend Ben, and he was always better than me at video games. And I told him when I started playing, I started taking things seriously. He was always just like, he took it casually, but he was still better than me. I was like, oh, you should try and be pro with me. And I can guarantee if he would have stuck with it, he would have been better than me, which is crazy. He gave up so much.
Yeah, he did.
No, he's happy. It's
little did he know. He could have gone off and won $1 million at CI.
Just playing with people that are better than you, you'll learn so much. It's kind of hard to learn new things in Dota.
You have to experience it, right?
You feel like you're bashing your head up against a wall a lot of times, especially in MMR. It's very frustrating.
It's also easy to watch pro player streams and be like, man, Dota looks so easy because
they
make all the right choices.
That's the biggest thing.
Pro games
but if it was you would have taken the wrong path 6 times leading to where those pro players are.
Yeah, I think that grinding MMR does have a serious effect, but then at least I felt when we were able to play on veggies and stuff, it was such a fantastic learning experience because then we're put into that mindset, and you're playing with people that are better than you, and you're playing against people that are really good, relatively.
Yeah. No, of course.
It's a much better learning experience. You can't just watch that sort of thing. I think you really do have to put yourself, you'll never be able to put yourself inside the head of that player until you're actually going through it. So and that's also inevitably a reason why we see certain regions jump up so much better when they start playing international lands. They're playing against other people who are much better than them. It's a learning process.
Okay. Next one. How hard is the transition from a pub star to a pro player nowadays? Peter, I think you should take the lead on that one. You've had a couple of them. You've certainly got one of the best in the world in your team right now.
I don't know. I don't know if I'm the best person to answer that question. I feel like we got to talk to Sumail, we got to talk to Miracle or SEC or one of these guys.
But all right, let me turn the question on you a little bit. What made you guys take Sumail?
No one else wanted to play with us.
Okay, that's honest. I like it.
To be completely honest, so we had to. We also.
But it's a bit of a risk, isn't it? Pulling in a pub star because you see him. Yeah, okay, great. He's having a lot of fun. He's got 2 or 3 heroes. He's phenomenal on them. He's obviously rated really high MMR. But the pub star that doesn't always translate.
Yeah, we had a couple opportunities to go with other players, but the thing is, with a new player and somebody who, they have potential. They're
Can you
untapped
mold
potential.
them?
Of course you can, and that's one of the big reasons we went with Sumail is because we weren't content with being a top 5 team. We wanted to be the best.
Yeah.
And picking up somebody that we already knew who was pretty good, just wasn't what we wanted. So we took a chance and a gamble with Sumail, and
you guys kind of revolutionized how that worked because you were the first team to really take a big, first tier 1 team take a big risk.
What about do you remember?
Because after that was Miracle.
What's that? It starts with an EX. He was a really high. It was
Excalibur.
and Excalibur.
Yeah,
I think.
I guess.
A couple months before that, those were the first tries. They didn't work out so well, and then I feel like Sumail was the one that really hit.
I mean, Excalibur was kind of a stand-in because that was when Era had his health issues.
It was at the summit. It was still a huge deal.
Yeah,
though.
yeah,
Everybody
absolutely
freaked out about it for weeks, and then he
took
got
a game
on
off DK.
He's also a specialist. I mean, he played Meepo and Tinker.
Exactly.
Right?
Yeah, he had 2 heroes. So yeah. That changed things. But like after you guys, after that, like that's when Weeha and Miracle got picked
the
up.
door opened, didn't it? Yeah. Weeha, Miracle, and then obviously Anna later on.
Yep.
And
And
it's also spread to China now as well. That was unusual when you looked at that, because they seem to be the ones that were like, we don't take too many risks. We might put them in our junior team.
A lot of credit has to go to Valve. I think ranked matchmaking and just kind of like the whole idea of people being able to, randomly queue up against the best players in the world added so much. Before, back in the days, it was always just in-house leagues.
Unranked, and pro players didn't try that hard. They would just 5-stack. They wouldn't try super hard to improve their play style. They would just, play pubs. I'm getting better, but they didn't actually sit down and be like, I'm going to play with 4 terrible teammates and carry them no matter the circumstances. That just didn't happen back then.
So if we're coming to a conclusion and an answer, I think it's actually a lot easier nowadays as a pub player
really,
to
because they can get recognized now, because teams are actually taking notice of it.
Because you have the key to the door. You can queue up ranked matchmaking, and Arteezy can queue up ranked matchmaking, and you could play mid against him.
That's true.
You can beat him.
I would say the barrier of entry, though, is just there's so many good players currently that you have to, if you're a fresh Dota player, less than 2 years of game experience, you have to be insanely talented to catch up and surpass them in some ways. So
yeah, but
I think that's the hard part.
In any kind of thing where there's talent and unique skill involved, finding like the pathway to get there is so hard to do. And we've seen so many players do it now. It's like, you play ranked matchmaking, you get in like the top 10, you're going to get picked up. Somebody's going to give you a chance. And that's an amazing opportunity that is right there in front of everyone.
Valve kind of removed like the luck factor, like finding like the right opportunity and luck to get noticed. Like, because it used to be a big part
where there's less timing, there's less circumstance. Just play a lot of pubs, really focus, and try to get good.
At PPD, what is your favorite ever game you have played with EG? That must be a tough question.
I'm excited to hear the answer.
It's tough. There's a lot of really fun ones. I think at our very first tournament, we played an online cup. I think it was like ESP something.
You're talking when you guys were like Sad Boys?
Yeah, we were still Sad Boys.
Okay.
It was our very first tournament. We played against Empire, and I had watched like every single Empire replay there ever was, and I noticed that every time they played against a jungler, they would all like smoke into the enemy jungle and ward everything. So we picked a jungler, and we also picked like Furion and some other heroes, and we went level 1 Roshan. And that was like the old Roche pit. So we picked the jungler, and we knew they would all send all their heroes to our jungle and ward our jungle. And while they were doing that, we just did Roshan at level 1, and it was on a European server online, and we won the game because of that.
Yeah.
Nice.
Those are the best wins.
All of the games that you've ever played with EG, all these incredible grand finals, TI, the game
really
against E-Home last year, all these games, and then you picked that one of all games.
It was a really fun game. It's really hard to pick out games, honestly.
Who's your favorite team to beat?
Favorite team to beat? Well, I would say last DAC beating Team Secret.
Yeah.
That was unbelievable. There was so much like drama there and everything, and it just made the win mean that much more. When we won that series 2-0, we were so ecstatic. Like, we felt like we'd won the tournament already.
Right.
And we still had the grand finals to play.
Yeah. This one changes to EG's drafts and strategy since Crit came in as captain. What's been the big changes, Peter?
I don't know. I guess Zai and Crit can swap up heroes. I never played like Earth Spirit, and I never played Wisp, and I think Zai and Crit both play it, so they're a little bit more interchangeable on heroes. Rather than when I was there, I always played the hard 5, and Zai played the 4, whoever was our 4 at the time.
Do you feel like the draft style is very similar to what it was when you were there? I mean, for instance,
I think
it seems Crit Light leaves 4 and 5 very similar to the way you did for the carry and the
I think they
the
take
mid.
their support heroes early. That's something that I was doing at the end of my time on EG, and they saved their last pick for Sumail's hero, and he's the highest impact player on the team. So I think it's absolutely the right thing to do, and I think it's very similar. I think that there's a very routine system with EG, and it just kind of adapts to where the meta is currently at.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
That's probably true. That's probably true.
There's a big reason why Empire made it to top 2, and it's not necessarily just because
Assault has arrived
no,
early.
I'm being genuine. Like, Empire is a good team. Like, for sure, they qualified here, but they qualified to this event because VP didn't play, and VP is technically the best CIS team because they qualified for Kiev, and then Empire comes in, has an amazing tournament, an amazing run. All the credit to them, but their group was not the strongest, and we said that from the very beginning.
Yep.
So. And then we see OG pick heroes like Arc Warden, for example.
Yes.
You could say, like, oh my God, they're geniuses. They're so.
Oh, come on. They're
so past the meta.
Arc Warden is something else, but there's consistency to Visage. You have to give it that.
I'm just saying.
Arc Warden was a misclick.
They're an amazing team.
Yeah.
And it's very easy to make your drafts look incredible when you're a good team. That's what people gave me so much credit when I was drafting. I could lose the draft and still win the game, and people would be like, "Oh, that was a smart draft."
That was genius draft.
That niche pick was perfect for the situation.